All right, so for a basic overview of how to build Burgeon reaction decks, we're going to start with Collei as our Dendro unit. She's one of 2 in the game. Fatui Agent will be our Pyro trigger. He will be doing most of the reactions for this team. Mona will be our Hydro unit, and I'm choosing her for her quick swap ability. The remainder of your deck can be as follows. For the ability cards, focus on using Collei's ability and the Agent ability. Mona's is not helpful on this team. Bring artifacts for your units, as they will save energy dice, but just use the default ones in the starting deck. You want to focus on drawing cards to increase the chance of getting your skill card, and rerolls to adjust to the ability. Reaction teams are built around switch cards. Be sure to include them so that you can trigger as many reactions as possible. While Mona provides one fast switch, Catherine will provide even more for late game. Tamias's cost matches up nicely with the artifacts included and will be a great saving of energy dice. Cards like Lieben and Paimon and Timmy are all around good cards, which will facilitate cleaner gameplay. CHANG the Ninth is a 0-cost card which capitalizes on reactions. Rerolling can make or break a game, as it allows you to adjust to both your needs and your opponent's actions, such as force switches from Anemo units, overload, and freeze. When the Crane Returned capitalizes on the 3 character positions in this designed deck, since it automatically switches to the next in line. It will primarily be used by Collei, and you will see this in the gameplay demonstration. Let's start a match with Ganyu and demonstrate how this deck works. Your focus on the initial hand will be low-cost setup cards with a few duplicates. You should only discard if you feel you can't play these cards in the first round. Mona will be the opener for most of these matches. She sets up the bloom and vaporize reactions. Unlike in the main game, vaporize has equal value whether triggered by Pyro or Hydro. Focus your opening round on setup. Don't worry too much about doing a bunch of damage in the first turn. If you can set up cards and reactions, it will pay off greatly later. Mona's skill applies Hydro both in its initial hit and during the end phase. While real players will understand this, the CPU doesn't seem to predict it and will accidentally inflict both characters with Hydro switching away from the hydro status. Mona's fast switch ability allows you to switch to your next character, even if you don't need to use them this round, and also end your turn, guaranteeing you will act first in the next round. The AI seems to be afraid of that hydro status, but doesn't realize that Mona's skill will afflict the new character as well. Sometimes the dice will be in your favor. When they're not, you can keep re-rolling, using the utility cards in this deck. The Crane Returns requires that you use a character's skill. Even though Collei's equipment card uses her skill, it will not trigger the switch from the Crane Returns, so it's best not to play it in conjunction. Both the switch and Collei's attack create a bloom core that is now given to the Fatui Agent. The agent can now utilize bloom reactions directly. The Pyro attack consumes the bloom buff and does additional damage. Unlike in the main game, the Burgeon reaction will not damage your own characters and simply does the additional damage, much like a vaporize. The Pyro Agent acts both as the reaction trigger, but also a defensive unit. Switching away from him, especially when inflicted by an element, can be catastrophic. Be sure to leave him in order to take the hits that are coming. This switch was doubly costly, because it also cost me the first action in the next round. Watch as my opponent capitalizes on my mistake. Ouch. With my Mona in pain and my plans in disarray, it's time to re-roll my dice and set up for a different party member. I'll let the dice decide, and apparently Collei will be my next play instead of the Fatui Agent. Pleased with its round, the AI ends early, trying to maintain initiative. This allows me to make a bunch of switches, not worrying about the action cost. setting up some devastating reactions. Collei is at nearly full health and has no elemental status. There's no need to switch right now, even though I have the dice. Lieben will take those and make value from them later. There appears to be a limit of bloom cores a character can hold. Even though I triggered a second bloom reaction, Collei retains the single core. At this point, there are enough reactions and effects on the field to guarantee that the Pyro Agent should be able to finish off the remainder of the opponent's cards. Another difference with the main game is that the Bloom core is owned by the team that created it. Although Katsing attacks with Electro, the core that is held by Collei is not destroyed. Many opponents utilize powerful bursts as a central part of their strategy. Watch your enemy's energy cards and take out any enemies that are close to using their burst to neutralize their strategy. Because Vaporize acts on the elemental aura of the opponent, and Dendro reactions such as Hyper Bloom and Burgeon utilize the Dendro card possessed by the character, the two reactions can occur simultaneously with a single attack. No matter how valuable a card is at the beginning of the game, near the end, cards like Timmy do not have value, and you should focus purely on damaging enemies and triggering reactions. Our value of this single pyro attack is doubled, both vaporizing but also consuming the Dendro core for additional damage. Unlike earlier, I will not switch to Mona. She is both vulnerable, and the Pyro Fatui is much stronger against enemy attacks. Even with his elemental aura, he should be able to survive. The Fatui's stealth ability will neutralize many low-power attacks completely. Once played in the end game, the Fatui's ability card will guarantee that all of the reactions that are triggered by Pyro necessary will be accessible through normal attacks, also boosting his defense through additional stealth. The burning reaction acts as a summon, which attacks with one instance of Pyro at the end of the round, much like Oz, Guoba, or other summons that characters have. At this point, the game is effectively over. The Fatui Agent has several options, both normal attacks. You can convert cards, which are long-term use, into Pyro Energy for either a burst or an E-skill. It doesn't really matter, because the 2 summon cards will take care of whatever damage is necessary to finish her off. You will notice that both skill cards are doubled in the deck, although only one can be used per game. This simply increases the probability of drawing them, and you can always convert the second into energy if you draw 2. As with other collector card games like Magic the Gathering, focusing your deck on particular strategies is more valuable than having a diverse set of cards. Seeing that it was available, the Fatui Agent's Burst is quite powerful, and with the right reactions can fell any card in the game. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Burgeon TCG guide. Subscribe or find me on Twitch for more information about Genshin Impact.